Good morning, what's shaking, what's happening? Welcome back to Tasty Bites Timeless Travels. Today is day 83 of our Holland America cruise around the world, and oh my gosh, is it cold, but it is a port day. Eventually we're going to hit Walvis Bay, Namibia. Come join us. So, this is what we woke up to today. He did tell us that it was going to be some fog, but oh goodness gracious, I don't think I was ready for this much fog. They've had to do the fog horns, like you have in Alaska typically. It is also rather chilly this morning. I have on long sleeves and I have on shorts because it is supposed to hit 72. But goodness, is it cold standing on... there goes the foghorn. Ugh. Ooh, it's kind of long too. All right, goodness, is it cold standing on this balcony. We are not going that fast. So, or it doesn't feel like we're going fast. It's not very rough, so I don't know how close we are, but we are not supposed to get there until maybe 11:30 for everything to kick off at noon. But it should be a good day. It is a shuttle to a mall. We've debated whether to go, but we think we're going to go and go ahead and get snacks and things like that because it is 6 sea days before we have another opportunity to get off the ship. So the mall's only 10 minutes from the port. Let's just go. There's 2 grocery stores. Let's just go ahead and go to the mall and then be back on because they bring the kids on from the Bernhard Nordcamp school. Some big name that all I remember is Bernhard Camp. It's not the full name, but they have a program at 4 o'clock, and we want to hear how much money they raised in the charity yesterday. So, those are the current plans. However, it's not even 8 o'clock yet, so we've still got 4 hours to go before we get off the ship. There is some sort of service today at 9, even though it's a port day. They did ask Pastor Reed to go ahead and put something together for 9 a.m., so he's not doing his last 7 days of Jesus that he's been going through. He's doing something else. So I don't know if he's going to go or not because it says like introduction to how to be a preacher or something like that. Didn't make any sense with the title, but he told him in church, he's like, I just had to throw a title in there. I don't know how much he's going to attract with that title, but goodness, I'm going to have to put on warmer clothes for this 4 hours before we get to the port. So, whew, it's chilly, but there's birds, so we got to be close to land somewhere. I don't know, but let's get this day started. All right, so we are sailing into Namibia, and it's interesting. They have buoys out here, and there was a whole bunch of like seals or otters or sea lions. I don't know my marine life well enough to tell you, but goodness, there's foghorns aplenty out here between us and the pilot boat. Kind of creepy, but really beautiful in a certain way too. All right, so update on this decision to get off the ship. First off, it was a little late. We were early getting in, but the officials were late getting on. So now it is 12:47. The problem is we have to go through immigration to get off the ship. Now we had to do that for Cape Town, and Cape Town they started with the bottom of the ship and said, you know, we'll go up, and then the next time we'll go down. But this time they started with 1 again, unless they happened to start with 10 at Cape Town, but I don't think they did. So they've only called deck 1, which means we have to wait on deck 1 to finish, and deck 1 is still almost to the ocean bar. And then they have to call deck 4, 5, and 6 before we can even get in line. So we might scrap the idea. We'll just have to wait and see. But this is extremely disheartening. It's a very short stop to begin with. So brings me back to, and C says this a lot. Normally I kind of poo-poo it and say, no, there's reasons people get off, but this one is a little much. All right, update. There was like mutiny on the Zyterdam, and the guy handling the line finally, when they finished, right before they called the next group, he let us through. So 1:10, we've been through immigration. So now we're headed towards the shuttle. All right, we have made it to the mall. It was about a 20-minute ride, not bad. Pretty nice looking mall though. We're gonna be real quick. The kids perform at 4. It's 1:41 now. Hopefully we'll be back by the 3 o'clock bus. So this is about an hour. Buses leave every 30 minutes. So I think if we can game for the 3 o'clock bus, we'll be good. But let's see what happens.
on the Dunes Mall in Walvis Bay, Namibia. It was actually a really nice mall. I feel like if we weren't so burnt out on malls, we would have spent a lot more time there. But we really just went to get some snacks at the grocery store because we wanted to be back in time for the 4 o'clock presentation from the kids at the school and to see how much money was raised and to see what it's all about. We miss seeing the kids around the pool and stuff like that. We would have had to stay on the ship for that. There's no way we were going to see that and go to the mall. As far as the process for getting to the mall, like I already said, it was very frustrating. Now, the last time they did it, it wasn't Cape Town. It was Richards Bay. It was our entry point into South Africa. But I don't know what deck they started with because we were numbered by like our hallways for that one. This one was actual decks and shore excursions. But it was a cluster. It was awful. But once they got through the shore excursions, the numbers were going quickly. But I think they also had a lot of people sneak into the line that weren't supposed to be there. Because they either got in before they did the deck by deck, or they figured out if they said, "Oh, I have a private tour," that they were going to be allowed through. So, not so good time with that one. And then it was also frustrating because the entertainers got to go, which I think their rooms are on one. I don't know, but it was just weird to see them allowed to go through when we were still sitting there being taught to, kind of like children, about, no, we've only called deck 1. You need to take a seat. The communication wasn't there either. It wasn't in a very nice tone. So but that was that. But the mall, nice mall. Nice grocery store, nice people. If we had more time, we would have done a lot more things, but it was a late stop. So we had already eaten lunch here, and then we wanted to be back by 4. But now it's time for the children's presentation. It's 3:22, but we got back here right at 3 on the dot. We missed the 2:30 shuttle, but they sent a van at 2:40, and we managed to get on that. So we managed to make it back in time to swing through Lido, see William, miss the kids. But we also had to get stamped out of Namibia. So therefore, we had to go back through immigration. But now we're going to chill. We're going to wait on the show. There's already a few people here. Not a lot, but there's nothing else to do. Everything's closed because it's a port day. And then the Lido's in it's weird where it's just the pizza line, the salad line, and the sandwich line open. So nothing there either, but let's see. And then I don't know how much I'm going to film because these are kids. I felt uncomfortable filming the children's choir the other day, but I'll try to get a little something. But should be a good show. All right, for dinner tonight, C has got some sweet and sour shrimp with some lemon. This is her round 1, and then I got a sweet and sour shrimp because she took all the rest. And a potato cake is under all that mushroom sauce, looking good. And then I also did a build your own stir fry. They had bok choy tonight, so I could not resist some bok choy. So it looks good. All right, and for her main course, C went for some simple pasta cavatappi with some marinara sauce and a softie roll. She's feeling a little home-style Italian tonight. Comfort food. Shimmy, shimmy. Shake, shake. All right, and then I also went for a steak and some more sweet and sour shrimp because they were out the first time I went up there. and a couple more potato cakes, but no sauce this time. Sauce was a little too much for me, but just potato cakes is good. All right, dessert time. And I got the Sasher tart. It's a piece of chocolate cake, a very fancy chocolate cake, very rich, very indulgent. They have baked Alaska in the main dining room, but they don't have it up here, though I thought they were supposed to, but they didn't. So I went for fancy cake, but fanciness needs some ice cream, so I got a scoop of ice cream with it. It's coffee ice cream. I do love a good coffee ice cream. With that, we are calling it a night. What a busy, interesting, yet didn't do anything kind of day for us. I mean, the morning was the morning. We were on the ship until about like 1 o'clock, I think is when we finally got off. 1:10, if I remember correctly. But went to the mall, got some snacks. There's two main grocery stores in this area of the world. There's Pick and Pay, where you had to have a little membership card to do the sales, and then there's Checkers, which you didn't need a membership card to do the sales, and this mall had them both, and thankfully, because it had a Checkers, we were able to finally really buy snacks, because we didn't realize that. They also have a store called Game, which is like a derivative of Walmart, but they were, like, you had to walk outside the mall to get there, and we didn't realize it, so we didn't make it there. But it's okay, we got snacks, and that's what we were looking for. Ton of the crew did not get to get off between the kids coming on board, plus there was a drill, plus it's a very tight day today for time. But as I say that, we are actually still tied up, and it is almost 9 o'clock. It's 8:47. We were supposed to leave at 6:30, something like that. We're still here. Something with fuel. The fuel tanker was extremely late to refuel us today, so I don't know what time we're leaving. But the kids' presentation, it was fun. I mean, it's a children's choir. They did a great job. They were really fun. They actually had the kids introduce every song, which was kind of cute and kind of neat. And see all their little personalities kind of come out. They raised a lot of money at the presentation today at 4 o'clock. They handed them a check for $15,000, but they were still counting cash donations. So tonight at the show, she announced that we actually, the ship raised $24,000 for them, which surpasses what they raised, I think, last year or the year before last time they were here. So lots of money. She said 20,000. She said that will actually pay their bills for an entire year. Is the significance of that donation to them. So, great time. Dinner, good. Lido dinner. Nothing wrong with a good Lido dinner, stir fry. And then nighttime show. All right, so this was the 70s show. The last time we saw the repertory company, we didn't quite care for them because it was focused on the one individual. But this time they were all back in action again. They were all doing things. It started out kind of rough. Their first song wasn't very tight. Their harmonies weren't quite there. But as the show progressed, it got better. And then they were very smart. They ended with ABBA. They did an ABBA medley. And that was the first time I've really heard the crowd get into them through this entire cruise. And the look on their faces, and you could see they were shocked when people started like clapping along and waving their arms to Dancing Queen. And that was the start of the ABBA medley. So things went better from there. So ended really, really good. So it was a great day. Now, 6 sea days, and our 6 sea days are starting off with a time change. I don't know how many time changes we have in this 6 sea days. I feel like this might be the only one. Hopefully it will not be like the 5 sea days, 5 time changes earlier in the voyage, but it is 6 sea days. So they said they're going to fill them with stuff. I've kind of looked ahead. It's the same deal. Feast or famine on sea days. We're going to have days like tomorrow where there's a lot to do. But then we're also going to have some days where there's nothing to do. So it should be great to see how we get to balance those out. I will tell you they are much needed. We are very tired. And then after these 6 sea days, we head up to the Mediterranean area and the Canary Islands. It's Cape Verde, which is technically part of Africa, I want to say. But then the Canary Islands and then into Europe, where it is ports like every day almost. So should be a great time. So make sure you hit that notification button. Keep following us along. Like, subscribe, all those fun socials. Check out our adventures as we make our way around the world. Now we're heading north on the 2025 Holland America Grand Voyage aboard the Zuiderdam. Have a great night. Bye.